Do you know about Boaty McBoatface?
I do. I think they named it after, was it a space station, or it was something that they allowed the community to vote for the name, right?
Right. It was a UK government-funded Antarctic research vessel. My memory is that it cost like at least £100 million to create, which in euros and dollars is also at least 100 million. And they decided to engage the public into this thing to try and raise awareness of the public of what they're doing. So we'll let the public vote. And they ran a poll on the internet, the public being what they are. I think a couple of radio stations got into it and decided, hey, let's call it Boaty McBoatface. Let's all vote up that name. A ridiculous name. It's a name you don't want to give to a £100 million Antarctic exploration vessel, state of the art and everything. This is the problem if you let people make your decisions for you, the public. A, they won't make the right decision. And B, like, people will play games with you. Like, it's always fun to find a way to manipulate anything public. So you always need to have this disclaimer that we are listening. Your input is part of our decision-making process, but we make the final decision. Was that boat ultimately called Boaty McBoatface? No, it wasn't. They ended up coming up with a compromise. I think it's called the Sir David Attenborough, or is it the Sir Richard Attenborough? I get the two confused. Named after like the famous BBC documentary maker.
David Attenborough, yeah.
But there are subs on board, like these self-controlled, remote-controlled robotic subs that could go and do exploration and stay under the sea for I think they stay under the sea for weeks or months at a time doing exploration under ice shelves. And one of them got called Boaty McBoatface. So this was the compromise. And this is, I think, also a smart way you can do things. If player feedback is not going in the direction you want, you can still do something with it, right? With a bit of creativity. But really, the main lesson of that story is you can't be making decisions based simply on popularity.
Absolutely. And you get that compromise again. You need to compromise, though, because if you don't, if you allow people to give the semblance of any decision-making power, but then you don't follow through, then you just create this toxic loop where the next time you do it, it'll become like the boy cried wolf. It's like, well, now I don't believe you for voting this. And it might even end up with them being even more nihilistic about the whole outcome and being even more ridiculous about it for the next thing. So it's a vicious cycle, potentially, if you don't do it well.
So my company's products offer feedback boards, and they're hosted on our servers. And I noticed that the smarter or the more wise community managers setting up these boards put up a disclaimer at the top in the little free text area we have that says, we appreciate your input. However, the final decision remains with the developers.
How clear is that in the feedback board? Like, does it say like at the top? Like, is it when you're making a decision or a vote?
Let's have a look right now. Our first priority is to fix any major issues. No promises, all bold.
That's
Developing
so good.
games. This is from Enshrouded, a survival game that uses us.
Yeah.
Developing games is a complex and time-consuming task. Even seemingly small changes can completely upend your development plans. The team saying we love your idea does not mean it will happen or that it will happen soon. And that's at the top of the feedback board that everybody sees when they arrive here.
Okay. So tell me more about this feedback board. Like, is it like a Reddit style feedback board? Like, what kind of interactions are you trying to facilitate when collecting this type of feedback?
Okay, this is a chance for me to be more salesy, right?
Yeah, sure. Please.
So we've tried to capture what's good about Reddit, Steam forums, Discord for a studio, while fixing up the bad problems. So the problem with Reddit is you don't own it. Like Reddit, it's all on Reddit's infrastructure, Reddit's rules and whatever. You might have a moderator, but ultimately you have little control over what's happening. Whereas with our system, you're completely in charge. So, I mean, you can even delete things that don't match, if there's a problem. But a big problem with Reddit, and Discord has the same problem, searchability is terrible. If there's a conversation going on today about some thing you should add, like general combat feedback thread is what I'm seeing in front of me.
Yeah.
People have a nice discussion. A week later, that will be forgotten, and someone else will come and create a new thread, a new post, and say, hey, I want to talk about combat. And the same conversation takes place again, except the people who remember it last time get frustrated. It's not easy for people new to your subreddit or your Discord to see what happened in the past. And you end up having the same conversations over and over again. And it's really frustrating. It's time consuming and it's hard to get any data out of that. So our system actually automatically is searching for matches as you type in a new post, a new thread to say, hey, this sounds like this thing that's already been talked about. So you can just add your comment to that. Now, despite that, people will still sometimes make new threads, and we've made it really easy with a couple of clicks just to merge two discussions into one, bring across the comments, the votes, and everything. So you're not looking like from a clean slate all the time. The default view is you're seeing the most popular conversations that have ever happened. So Reddit has a decaying thing where very quickly things drop from the front page, right?
Yeah.
Whereas we keep them at the front page because the popular things, the ones people want to keep talking about for feedback for your game.
And to play devil's advocate,
yeah,
the power of Reddit is that you have these self-perpetuating communities of players that come together, not just because they want to talk about the game and how it can be better, but they want to share memes, they want to talk about new content or ask questions to other people or whatever it may be. And it's a living, breathing community. And a big plus side of that is that you have potentially millions of people using these Reddit threads. And how do you kind of leverage or take from that and apply it to your feedback board where maybe there are less people kind of on that feedback? How do you bring them over?
Okay. First of all, what you describe about Reddit is exactly what Reddit is good at, sharing memes and telling stories and so on. What it's not good at is a platform for managing feedback. So, and yet people will give you feedback there. So what we suggest is that you just add a link somewhere prominent that says got feedback. It goes over on the feedback board with a link to it. In some cases, you can have a Reddit bot that automatically detects things that looks like requests for new features or suggestions and tells people, hey, you should push it over there. There was a second part to that. Oh, you talked about millions of people on Reddit. See, this is one of the myths. Yes, there are millions of people on Reddit. There are not millions of your players on Reddit. Even if your game has 1 million players, only a small subset of them are on Reddit. Maybe some go and look at the subreddit briefly, maybe when they've got a specific problem or they're new to the game. Most people, they're too busy doing other things to want to be on Reddit all day or every day. They'll only go into the subreddit when there's a specific problem they have. So, or they're looking for tips to get past a boss or boss fight or something. So, yeah, this is really a very different thing than what Reddit is. Reddit is good at some things. We're good at something else.
But Reddit has a lot of, I think what I'm getting at is that Reddit has a lot of power users. Whenever you're looking at a Discord or a Reddit, like the people who are there most vocal are oftentimes not the bulk of your player base. They're a very highly dedicated super fan portion of the player segment. And that can be great, but that can also be misled in terms of the feedback you extract from them.
Exactly. If you think about Reddit too, it's the data I've read is that it's predominantly American. Yes, it gets used outside of America, but it's overwhelmingly American, very strongly male, and has a particular, what's the word, like ethos? No, etiquette, so on. Yeah, etiquette that perhaps scares off some people. And power users, bless them, they can be very good to listen to, but they can also sometimes be a little bit damaging when it comes to new players or people who are not well versed in the etiquette of something like Reddit.
Yeah.
So, hey, power users are great. You get a lot of feedback from them. They're the ones you know will be there testing out your new beta release or your new update. But you also have to make sure that you're not listening too much just to power users. Otherwise, it brings us back to the problem with our World of Warcraft, right?